The first of two count 'em, weather fronts moving through. One is producing some showers and a few thunderstorms this evening, and maybe some leftover showers and a couple of rumbles of thunder tomorrow, especially in New England. And that has some nice, let's call it late summer weather behind it, although it's not going to be technically summer from the standpoint of hot, but it will be cooler. And then we've got a second front that's going to come through, and that's going to bring some early autumn weather for Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday morning. Flash flooding in parts of the southwest, a quiet tropics. All that and more coming up tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show, brought to you by our friends at Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York, and Southwest Suffolk County on Long Island, serving the entire New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, tri-state area with everything you need to make sure your home is working right in case we do have some adverse weather. Heaven forbid a tropical storm or a hurricane. Generators, sump pumps, and so on available at Omni, along with batteries, flashlights, and more. Plus, if you want to make your yard look great this fall, how about some mulch? Whatever color you'd like, they got it. 631-756-1125 is the telephone number, and as the website is...
excuse me, OmniTrueValue.com. Good evening to one and all.
A crisp, business-like good evening to you. I will inform you, Mr. Rayo, that I will beat you to the 40s because we should make upper 40s here at my house the next 3 nights, starting with tomorrow morning. Well, certainly the next 2, possibly the next 3. But I can feel it outside. The dew points have dropped, and it's... I think my last thermometer check when I looked was 66. So should have no problem getting down to under 50. So I'm going to beat you to the 40s. You'll get there, I think, Friday morning and probably Saturday morning as well.
Well, I've got for the Friday night low temperature here in the lower Hudson Valley, and this is an average for the entire region, 51 degrees. And then on Saturday night, and on Thursday night, actually, I guess Thursday night, Friday morning, I do have 49. So, yeah, for those 2 nights, late Thursday night and late Friday night, temperatures are going to be well down there, probably near or within a few degrees of 50. And there will be a few spots that'll indeed get down into the 40s. So, and tonight, my low temperature spread for the lower Hudson Valley, I think lows tonight will, by daybreak, be within a degree or 2 of 68. Right now, it's about 74, 75 outside, and we do have a bit of humidity.
Oh,
so
you have a lot of humidity.
Yeah, well.
Robert Russo being the first Super Chat hit tonight. Thank you, Robert. Most appreciated as always. And Robert Hill was the first Super Chat hit, followed by Robert Russo. Robert Hill saying, take care and enjoy September, but we want more rain. There's a boilerplate. Speaking of more rain, there's an absolute boilerplate over Long Island, Joe. Whatever showers that were around yesterday and last night, some places got a little bit, but really it was nothing to write home about by any stretch of the imagination. And there were spots that just got enough to get the ground wet, and that was it. And at least from the standpoint of this evening, from what I was looking at on the radar, there's some showers and storms building up in southeast central PA, down into the Maryland, Delaware area, and into northeast Virginia. And there's a line that's in west central PA. We're going to take a look at that on the radar in a minute. I think you're probably going to see some showers come in tonight, but I mean, how much rain are you going to get? This, by the way, may be the last shot for rain for the rest of the week and through next weekend. Or this coming weekend, I should say.
Yes, back to the old script again. Meanwhile, Ms. Spallerite points out on the chat board, it may be quiet in the tropics now, but the damage from Hurricane K is horrific. Lots of roads totally washed out, ripped up, rock slides, electrical outages, no drinking water, cell phone, or internet connect. So, I guess parts of Southern California really felt the effects from K over the last several days. And it's a no-win situation. As I've said this time and time again out in California, Southern California, they're either complaining about, oh, it's so dry and we have drought conditions and we need water. And then when they get the water, what happens? They get all of it at once, and they end up with mudslides and, as Ms. Balleray just pointed out, all kinds of horrific stuff that goes on. There's never a middle ground, it seems to me, in California, in Southern California.
And it rained there, and it's still having a tough time raining in the Northeast and parts of the Northeast and Northern Mid-Atlantic states. From the old song, "It never rains in California." But oh, don't they warn you? It pours, man, it pours.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Well.
All right. So I got a couple of things I wanted to touch upon today, and since a few people are already winter obsessed, as we know, I'm going to show. Now, this was something Timothy Veltman put something up today on my subscription platform with regards to this, and it put a bug in my brain. So thank you, Timothy Veltman, for that. But I just want to show you, at least to illustrate a forecast, a short-term forecast dilemma, and then I want to look at the longer term. So I have up the European upper air. Okay.
And shrink yourself down so that we could all.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yes.
Thank you. I have now shrunk myself down. Okay.
The same cookie that Alice ate in her Wonderland. So.
Yes. So I have the European up for today, and what you'll notice is that there's a deep upper low that moves off of Newfoundland and heads well south of Greenland, and there's another deep trough on the edge of this picture. Maybe the North America view might be a little better. Let's do that. So I was looking at the tropics here. So we've got the European generating a very deep trough in the west come early next week. And of course, in between all that, and I'll mark it off for you so you could see what I'm talking about. Here's your deep trough that's out in the west. Here's the system from, that's south of Greenland. So in between, there's got to be a ridge, and we actually have an upper high that's going to form on the European somewhere in the lower Mississippi Valley. This is a week from now. And the European takes that upper high and brings it into the eastern part of the United States and builds about as big a ridge as we've seen through the summer. It's a 590, probably about a 593, 594-ish upper high, Joe. Probably want to put it somewhere in southern Virginia. And there's a trough that extends, of course, from the west coast trough. It starts to move east, and you've got an upper low that's running somewhere between Great Slave Lake and Lake Winnipeg, with a rather nice-looking trough down into the Dakotas and into parts of Utah and Colorado. But this would certainly suggest that coming, say, Sunday, starting probably Sunday, but particularly next Monday and next Tuesday and Wednesday and into Thursday, it could get very warm, and by September standards, it could actually get hot around here. But the issue here is, okay, well, that's the European. Now, let's look at the GFS. The GFS, on the other hand, okay, says no, 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 no. It has something that the European doesn't show, and that's another shortwave Sunday night that comes into the Northeast and holds that ridge back in the middle Mississippi Valley, and actually creates some troughing along the East Coast. So we're kind of on the edge of this. This would keep most of the hot weather to the west and south. And, of course, regardless, it's a northwest flow, so it's dry. And the GFS, just kind of tries to take the ridge to the southeast coast. This is on the new run, and then gradually flattens it out. If we looked on the old run, Joe, it was a little more interesting from the differences. Take a look at from the old run, the 12Z run. You got the short wave that moves through in the northeast and strengthens, and another one right behind it, and another one right behind that, and a blocking high that develops over Greenland. And this is going into the last days of the month, which is actually a very, very cool looking upper air. So the European and the GFS are going in two different directions. And then I said, well, let me look at the Canadian. Let's see if the Canadian can lend some support to this, to either one. And I looked at the Canadian, and then I decided, why did I bother? Because the Canadians got a upper high in Tennessee and Kentucky, but at the same time, it cuts off a low near Nova Scotia and drives it southward almost to 40 north and 65 west. So we've got this northerly flow from the Canadian, from a deep upper low that's out to our east. So what do you forecast? What do you do here? In terms of the long range, it's either going to get hot, or it's not going to get hot, or it's going to get very cool, or it's going to be something in between.
Well, the Climate Prediction Center folks are probably backing the idea of the European. And if you want to allow me, allow me to get
by all means, please do
share this up. Yes, you will see that the indications are that it's going to get very warm, if not downright hot, as you just mentioned, which is what the European is now suggesting.
Yeah, you have the screen.
There. I'm looking here. Hold on for a second. There we go. All right. So let me just get over to the CPC again. I had it up for a second, and then I lost it. No, I don't want the Chinese American Planning Council. That's another CPC. Yes. All right. So back over, we go to the here. And wait a minute. Why am I getting? I'm getting all confused here. I'm getting all discombobulated.
Are you?
Yes, I am. Come on. Hold these buttons. There we go. All right. I apologize for the delay and everything, but now all of you participants out there can see my application. And this is quite a temperature outlook, Joe. This runs from September 18th, which is next Sunday, through the 22nd of September, and that is a week from this Thursday. And as you can plainly see, unless you happen to live out in the far western states, just about everybody is going to be experiencing, according to the CPC, above normal temperatures, but probability is way up over the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, and extending north and eastward into portions of Pennsylvania and western New York State. In fact, let me see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right here, where you see the darkest shade of red, maybe actually maroon, we have an 80 to 90% probability of above normal temperatures. That means that where we are here in the New York tri-state area, 70 to 80% probability of above normal temperatures. So I don't know, Joe. It seems to me that the CPC folks are strongly leaning on what the European is saying, and that is above normal temperatures, warmer than normal conditions. And if you're wondering about precipitation, well, you said, Joe, that maybe a long, long time before we see any kind of significant precipitation. And as you can see here on the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, we're into below normal probability for that same time frame. So that while we're going to be warm to maybe even hot, we're going to see very little, if any, precipitation fall here in our sector of the country, it appears, right on through a good part of next week. Wow.
Yep. And I did something today off of this, which I rarely look at the CFS model, which is the climate models. But I said, you know what? Why don't let's look at the climate model monthlies and see what's going on. And of course, the last time I looked, going into the early part of next year, and January, February, March, it was pretty much as warm as you could possibly. Well, I shouldn't say that, but it was just it was a warm in the east type of upper air. Well, I looked at it today, Joe. I was actually mildly surprised. While it's got sort of a flattish pattern for October, it actually has troughing with below normal heights here in the east in November. and ridging in the west, kind of troughing in the east. And in December, it's got below normal heights in southeastern Canada with near normal heights in the northeast and northern mid-Atlantic states and only a little bit above normal in the southeast. January, below normal heights running from, say, the St. Lawrence River all the way back up into northwest Canada, kind of near. It's a colder look overall, is what I'm getting at here. I was a little shocked at this. I kind of didn't expect it. And it sort of holds on to some extent in February, and then you start to lose it in March, and then it comes back in April, and then you lose it again in May.
The executive producer, by the way, is asking, maps? Maps? Where are the maps?
Oh, yes, exactly. Yes, I forgot.
Oh, yes.
I forgot to switch back. Okay, well, there's no love lost here. But all right, here's the CFS. And it's actually, like I said, it's a colder look. This is October, as I said. It's this flattish look. November, which is actually a kind of a chilly-ish look here. And December, it wouldn't be any worse than near average. And January, same thing, same idea, near average, below average temperatures to the northwest. It's still kind of holding on for February before you start to get into above normal heights again in March, then it goes below normal in April. So my point is that this is a model that if you look at it even if you looked at it, say, twice, 2 or 3 times a week, especially on these monthlies, they just don't change very much over the course of several months. It's almost as if sometimes I think they just take the map from one month and then move it up as each month goes by. So I was a little bit surprised to see as cold, this sort of coldish look on the CFS. And I don't think there was anything. Was it the CanSIPs? Yeah, see, the CanSIPs, which is another Canadian climate model, has it kind of mildish for October, normalish for November, cold for December, cold for January, mildish for February, and near normal for March, and near normal for April, and near normal for May. I mean, these are models that when you look at them over the course of several months, or certainly the last several months, all they ever show is above normal temperatures in the east, and all they ever show is, warm weather in the east. And apparently, it's gone a different way. This one, Joe, has the anomalies too, the temperature anomalies, so that might be a little more useful.
It would be nice to remember if we gave, and I don't know if we either one of us took note of, at this time of the year in September, what these climate models were saying for, let's say, December. Because if you remember, last December, we had record-breaking heat across much of the central and eastern United States. And, of course, that also loaned itself to creating that outbreak. I think it was on the 11th of December of last year of severe weather, tornadoes and whatever. It would have been interesting to see whether or not, we had access to the climate models from September, looking far ahead into December and seeing what they had said, whether or not they were saying above normal or below normal or whatever. But no matter what, I would have to say that December this year must be colder than what we had last December, because last December was highly anomalous.
It was ridiculous.
It was off the wall warm, and so I'd say it's pretty well, out of the picture for us to repeat that 2 consecutive years. But anyway, that was last year.
It's kind of it has near normal temperatures through most of the east in December. January is near normal. You can see where the below normal is. It's to our northwest and up in Canada, so a lot of cold air up in Canada. This actually, for snow lovers, might be a bullish look, because there's going to be, if it's warmer than normal across the south and colder than normal to the north, is probably some sort of frontal boundary in between. February is close to normal. March is close to normal. April is close to normal. So if you believe the CanSIPs, okay, the CanSIPs would say a near normal winter for a change temperature-wise. Of course, that doesn't really tell you anything because it could be below normal when it's dry and then go above normal when storms come around and then it's rain with maybe snow inland, but you get you know what I'm getting at here.
Right, right.
So, but everybody seems to want an answer 4 months in advance. So you know what? I figured I'd show the climate models, and you know, if you're if you're a winter weather lover, you cannot be unhappy with this, considering um, where we've been over time. I don't know why, for some reason, the CFS monthly, I couldn't find the link to it. Yes, there was no link to it before. Now there is. So here's the CFS temperatures, which are normal-ish for November and warm in the west, normal-ish for December, normal to slightly below normal, I would say, for the Northeast and back through the Great Lakes for January. A little bit above normal for February, a little bit above normal for March, and then near normal for April. Okay, so that really, I spent the last 10 minutes really just not what's the how do I want to phrase this? We I mean, to me, this stuff is so useless. It really is. It's just useless. Who knows? One typhoon recurving could alter this entire pattern, or not recurving could alter all of this in the longer term.
Right. You may have the whole fall and winter mapped out, and then all of a sudden, what you just said, a typhoon, let's say, sweeping from the Philippines up into the Gulf of Alaska, changes the whole complex and changes the whole character of the long range outlook, and then you have to go back and start all over again.
Yep.
You have to be like, remember Clyde Crash Cop?
Yes.
Leonardo, back to the drawing board.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the U.S. satellite, what stands out is actually a rather lovely looking rotation of a cutoff low up in northern Indiana, and you see the rotation there is very well defined. And of course, we had this sort of warm front, cold front situation today, and there's a blow up of clouds and some showers and thunderstorms now that extend from southern PA down further south into parts of Virginia and North Carolina, and then even further south than that into parts of central South Carolina and southern Georgia. But I'm already behind the front, so I've cleared out nicely, and as I said, my temperatures are headed. That upper low is bringing the cooler air, the first shot of cooler air, straight down to me, rather than coming to you, which is why I'm going to beat you to the 40s. The radar, here's the latest radar. You can see where these. A lot of what's here, Joe, I think it's what the models are picking up that it's supposed to move over New Jersey, Long Island, the Hudson Valley, Connecticut, southern New England, and central New England. I don't know how much of this is going to hold together is beyond me. And then there's another, as I said, there's another line of thunderstorms and moving into central PA. Not a half shabby looking line either that's out in central PA. That's probably where the first front is. And how much of this stuff is going to hold together tonight? Is it going to be a boilerplate again by the time it gets here?
I don't know. The HRRR and also the 3 kilometer NAM seem to be suggesting that sometime around 2, 3, 4 in the morning that the immediate tri-state area would get hit with some significant thunderstorm activity, or at least some significant shower and thunderstorm activity. So it may be. It's not necessarily supported by the 12 kilometer NAM or the GFS, although the GFS is suggesting that we're going to be under the gun for some kind of wet weather all the way through into later tomorrow. So I really don't know.
I'm looking at this HRRR. This is the which one is this? This is the 23Z HRRR. I mean, you look at that radar presentation, it's nothing to write home about from the standpoint of rain. I mean, yeah, there's a couple of scattered showers and 1 or 2 thunderstorms in there, but it's like earlier today, let me go back to the 18Z, because this morning it had all these thunderstorms around for this evening. So obviously that's not necessarily. See, I'm looking at the 18Z HRRR. And the 18Z HRRR, Joe, had a much far more loaded radar for the overnight period and more in the way of thunderstorms as it lifted up to the northeast. Now it's got, as we've gotten closer and we look at the latest one, it's, like I said, it's like, duh. Really, it's like, duh.
Now, I mentioned just a few moments ago Clyde Crashkop, and I think I have a view of Clyde Crashkop, Joe, after he just examined the very latest series of global models here. So,
all right, hang on. Let me switch you back, and then remind me to go ahead.
So this basically is. I mean, this basically is an expression that I know you and I have gone through many a time when we've looked at the models, Joe. Oh.
By the way, you made me think of tonight. If you don't get a thunderstorm, we'll have Martin the Martian saying, "Where was the kaboom? There was supposed to be a big kaboom."
Right. For my uranium 230 P238
space modulator.
Yes.
Someone has stolen the space modulator.
Yes.
Oh, good God. All right, let me flip back. Here we go. So let's go back to the radar. Whoops. There it is. And as far as elsewhere, let's move to the southeast. You can see the southern, some rather strong storms in southern Virginia, east central North Carolina. There's another line through central South Carolina into southern Georgia. We've got some patches of downpours and a couple of thunderstorms on the east coast of Florida tonight. And just a dying patch on the west coast. Meanwhile, in the southwest, it's been busy, big time. So I guess let me just look at the satellite again. You can actually still see the remnant, the eastern edge of the remnant low of K as well offshore, and there's all this residual moisture that's out to the west. But you look at the radar in the southwest, there's a bunch of flash flood warnings up in Southern California. And in northern Arizona, in southern Arizona, you've got a bunch of flash flood, severe thunderstorm, and there's even a tornado warning that pops up and disappears as of 8 o'clock Eastern time, and more showers up in parts of Nevada and Utah, and continuing northward in eastern Oregon, up and through Idaho, and eastern Washington state. So that's sort of indirectly related to what was left of K. I would think so. I would think you could say that.
Now, am I correct when I saw on the Storm Prediction Center that they had in Arizona, they had a marginal risk of severe weather there? Yeah.
Marginal risk of severe weather being indicated there in Arizona. They also still have a marginal risk indicated. Let me give this a quick refresh just in case. Yep, they still have a marginal risk across central and eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, southern New York from the Catskills west down into Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, and North Carolina. In some areas that is playing out according to plan, and in other areas not so much. Tomorrow, there is a marginal risk of severe weather from Long Island, western Long Island, to you, Joe, and north and northwest of there, going all the way up into north central New York. From there east into southern Maine. So all of central and southern New England and parts of let's say the southern areas of northeastern New England, under a marginal risk of severe weather. Do they have tornado risk? Yes, look at that. They got a 2% tornado risk for Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Suffolk County on Long Island. Good luck with that. The way these things have not been, these thunderstorms have not been, not that we want a tornado, but we certainly would at least get some rain out of this. And the other thing is, funny thing I thought was that the WPC folks, I guess they're just kind of covering themselves in case some of these thunderstorms do develop with some heavier downpours. They actually have a slight risk of flash flooding for tonight in western New Jersey, eastern PA, southern and central New York, back to the Catskills, and then also in Maryland and down into northeastern Virginia. Again, some areas, the southern parts of that area, having a better shot at that. Marginal risk down into North Carolina, and they do have slight to marginal risk, by the way, in the Southwest into tomorrow morning. And then for day two, which is tomorrow, Joe, they got a marginal risk pretty much matching up with that marginal risk of severe weather. They got a marginal risk of flash flooding and a pretty big area of marginal to slight risk in the Southwest and going up through Utah and Idaho and Nevada and parts of southeastern California and also in Florida.
That's pretty good that they have a slight risk for excessive rainfall reaching into the tri-state area from the west. Now, they're thinking that the HRRR, or at least the earlier runs, and also the 3-kilometer NAM have something when they're bringing in the clusters of possible showers and storms in here in the after midnight hours tonight, and banking that for creating the potential flood risk for later tonight and early tomorrow. So we'll see if that actually does take shape.
And by the way, I'm not cheering for flash flooding or tornadoes. Let me make that clear. I'm just thinking in terms of just getting some rainfall in still some of the dry areas in the Northeast, although last week's rain for many areas, not all, but many areas, it was beneficial. And the 7-day rainfall amounts, what struck me on this is that if we could take out tonight and tomorrow, because that's where that rain is, because after tomorrow it's bone dry. So everything you see in the Northeast is pretty much front end loaded. And we've got some big rains for Florida over the next 7 days, and also some moderate to sizable rains in the Southwest and going northward up into the northern Rockies. But there's also this huge area of no rain at all for the next week from Texas and Oklahoma east to Georgia, western, south, and North Carolina, and much of Virginia, up into southern Ohio, Indiana, Illinois. I mean, this is part of that ridge building right in here, and if it's nudges its way up into the Northeast, when we look at this tomorrow, it's probably going to show next to nothing for 7 days, unless if the GFS is right.
Well, and speaking of how dry it's been, just about a week or two ago, I mean, I'd say about half of my lawn was brown and the other half was green. Now, I guess thanks to all of that rain we had a week ago, soaking into the ground, I think that my lawn now is like mostly green. Don't see very much in the way of brown, and I'm actually going to, for the first time, I can't even remember now when I actually took out the tractor mower and mowed the lawn, but I'm planning to do it on Wednesday with the very low dew points and comfortable temperatures and bright sunshine and dry conditions. That's on my docket for Wednesday to take care of that. And the grass in some places actually just downright shaggy. So, all you need is 3 or 4 inches of rain and let it have time to soak in, and the grass responds quite readily. Didn't want to do it today because I knew that we would have more rain coming tonight into tomorrow, and so while I'm not like you, John, I'm not gonna root for flooding or severe rainfall, but I suspect we will have some kind of rain to deal with overnight into tomorrow, and then hopefully drying out and turning nice for the middle and latter part of this week.
Yeah, after 2 o'clock, you look at the European. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's got a busy radar from New York City north and northeast, and then it's all but gone, except for a small arm that comes down from Canada into Vermont, and that's it. And then after that, here comes the high, and it just sort of builds on in down the East Coast. High pressure near James Bay gradually shifts southward. And by the time we get to Saturday, it's off the New Jersey coast. So let's start the west-southwest wind for Sunday. And there's a little low that forms off the southeast coast that gets ejected to the east. Then looks like a bit of an upper trough comes through on Monday, but then the high just sort of builds right back in. I mean, look at this. It's just next to nothing here over the next 10 days. There's some sort of front that comes through next Wednesday on the European and drops southward. So that'll probably put an end to, very warm temperatures at that point. And the European is trying to make a tropical storm in the Northwest Caribbean here by next Thursday. And then it moves it into the southwestern Gulf. So just letting you know that it's another one of these things that it's spinning up, and something may come of it, but something may not. And the GFS, which we noted was different. I'm going to look at the 12Z run because that was a bit more radical. So the GFS, oh yeah, look at that. That's snow up in Labrador. The GFS, and this is for Sunday. Let me just roll it back. So here we go. The initial front comes through, and that's now into tomorrow. Then you wait for the secondary push, and that's for Thursday night, and Friday. That's when the driest air and the coolest air comes in. And we move through Friday. The high is off the East Coast. So it kind of matches up with the European at this point. Low off the Southeast Coast gets ejected to the east. There's a back door that doesn't make it. So now we're into Monday. We still have a west wind. And then there's a cold front Monday night that comes through. And then another cold front that comes through on Wednesday. And it's got, cooler air behind that one, Joe. 558 thickness. 552 up in near Boston. And then it's got a 1030-ish high with another front late next week. So this would be September 24th. And this has got a significant cool shot that comes into the northern plains, the Great Lakes, and into the Northeast and down through the mid-Atlantic states. Again, that's because, as we showed you at the beginning, how all the models have this sort of, different view of how things are going to evolve. So I don't know where you are on this. Like you said, the CPC folks seem to be leaning toward the Europeans' idea. I'm going to give it a couple of days because I've seen the European do stuff that ultimately the GFS seems to have has gotten the upper hand in a lot of this. So I'm just going to be patient and just wait.
The thing that is disappointing to me is the fact that we've heard recently of all the upgrades that the GFS has received, trying to play catch up with the European, and that would make you want to think that both models, the European and the GFS, would be a lot closer together. And here we are looking at a scenario coming up for the next 6 to 10 days where basically they're diametrically light years apart as to what may take shape. And it kind of makes you wonder, why is this? Why can't we get two purportedly excellent atmospheric models together and end up on the same page? It never seems to be that way. And of course, the end result is mass confusion among forecasters and trying to figure out what's going to happen much beyond 2 or 3 days from now.
Yeah. The tropics, we've got two tropical waves that the Hurricane Center mentions on their outlook, both producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms, one in the central Atlantic, another one just coming off the African coast. It looks like there's another wave behind that one. They're only giving, as I said, a 10 to 20% chance for either one to develop. I didn't really see anything that screams development. Maybe when one of these waves, I think it's the second one. In about a week's time, or maybe it's the lead one because everything seems to be moving slowly. That's another thing I've noticed. These waves that have come off this year, there's not been much of a push. They don't seem to be. Usually they're moving west at 18, 20 miles an hour. These things have been crawling across. So maybe it is the one in the central Atlantic. The European wants to try to develop something around day 8 or 9 north of Hispaniola, takes it into the Bahamas, and it looks like with the ridge in the east, it would point it right toward Florida if that were the case. But who knows? At this point, we can't even figure out if that ridge is going to be in that position or if there's going to be more troughing in the eastern part of the United States. And that's that, and that pretty well sums it up.
That does. Oh well.
So, anyway. Anything else exciting going on in your life?
No, nothing.
You sound this is as good as you've sounded in the last 8 or 9 days. You do
It
sound much
is.
better today.
It has taken a while, and who knows? It may have been all of actually. I really didn't eat all that much this weekend at the German the Oktoberfest, but yeah, slowly but surely, we're coming back. At least I'm not having these occasional coughing fits or whatever in the middle of the night. And thank you to Leon Probitsky for hitting super chats. I think he has some that looks like a fox with two fans, and the fox is going right. Anyway, thanks, Leon.
Okay, well, tonight on Briller Jeopardy, we've been on this theme of retired tropical names, and of course, those of you on the chat board are more than willing to we'd love to have you participate. Johnny Quest just says, "Is it possible that the euro is made overseas? Well, the European, it is." He says, "Is it the
It's called
European
the
is made overseas?"
European for
Right,
a good
and the
reason.
GFS is made by Americans. Both models have had upgrades, and the European upgrade, since the last upgrade, I don't know, it's left much to be desired in my view. I just don't think it works as well as it has. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, exactly.
The old thing: if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
You know?
right. Okay, tonight's retired tropical storms are the G and the H letter. There are 5 G's that are retired, and there are 6 H's. 5 G's and 6 H's.
I'm trying to think of a listing of names that start with G.
All right, I'll give you a hint on the on the H. Okay, only one of them. All the H retired storms. Okay, are prior to 2000.
There's immediately one just popped into my head, and that would be Hugo. Hugo in 1989.
That is correct. That is one of the 6H storms.
That really did a number on Charleston, South Carolina, back in September of '89. Right. And that storm actually came northward and did a bit of a number on us in terms of gusty winds, more gusty winds than rain from Hugo's effects on us. Did that go to the west of us? I think it went to the
west of the it went up the west side of the Appalachians.
Yes. Yeah.
The chat board is clamoring, Gloria, Gloria, Gloria. Yes.
Oh, of course, Gloria.
Gloria on the Gloria was a retired G name.
Right. That storm did, if for nothing else, Neil Frank, who was the director of the National Hurricane Center when that storm came buzzing on through in 1985, I think he sat in a chair and he literally did something like, I don't know how many dozens of maybe even scores of radio and television stations. I mean, if you called a Hurricane Center and said, "Can we have an interview with Dr. Frank?" They said yes. And Dr. Frank, it was like almost continuous. Like he was stuck in that chair for like 2 days leading into the and the funny thing is that when the storm didn't live up in some places to expectations, because they were saying this is one of the strongest storms we've ever seen in the Atlantic Basin, and everybody has to batten down, and this could be a terrible storm. And when that didn't happen, everybody got pissed off. I don't understand. I'll never understand human nature, Joe. I say to myself, did you want tragedy? Did you want billions of dollars in damage and people dying from this? I mean, the storm was not anywhere near.
I'm sorry. What's my phrase that I always use? I'm sorry you did not get the tragedy you were looking for.
Right.
Maybe next time.
Yes.
Come on, exactly. You should be able to get the one H storm that has occurred in the last 20 years. It's very recent.
Henri?
No. I kind of wish they would retire on that name.
Oh, Harvey.
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 Harvey. I'm going to call my
He's even
friend
bigger. He's
Harvey.
he's even bigger than my friend Shirley.
Okay. Now we're getting that
That
hidden.
was that a Cat 4 or 5, Harvey? I know it did a number
4.
on Texas. It was a 4. Okay.
4. Just trying to adjust my microphone to try to avoid this annoying feedback. Okay, so we have Harvey. Let's see if the chat board is getting Gustav. Mark DeCara says Gustav. Yes, Gustav was. Wait a minute. Yes, in 2008, Gustav was retired.
Right.
So we have Gloria Gustav. By the way, the G storms, except for Gustav, all of them were prior to 2000. And we've got Harvey. Come on, we got, there's a couple of standouts here, Joe, for the H storms that you should be able to roll them off. So you got Hugo.
Right. Hugo was.
No, and Henri was not retired. Hattie, Johnny Quest, you're the expert with this. So he's pulling out the names. So yes, Hattie was retired. Hattie in 1961.
Well, Joe, I was only 5 years old back then. How could I remember Hattie?
I don't know. I exactly. I could have told you this probably 10 years ago. I could not have told you this now. Just trying to see if there's Gordon, says John Sachs. Gordon. And no, Gordon was not on the retired G list. But let's see. Actress from the 1930s. Joe. Actress from the 1930s, a G.
Actress from the 1930s.
Leave me alone. I want to be left alone. Oh. Leave me alone.
Well, wait a minute. Wasn't that Oh, God. I want to be alone.
I want to be alone. Leave me alone.
Well, wait a minute. Have we mentioned among the G storms? Did we mention Gilbert?
Gilbert, yes, John, we did get Gilbert, and Robert Russo is participating tonight, and on the H storm, Hazel. Da 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 da. Hazel, Harvey, Hattie, Hazel.
Well, Hazel goes back to the 1950s.
And Hugo. So there's only 2 left of the 6s. Only 2 left.
2 left of the of the H or the G's.
Let's see. Hold on. I'm switching back and I have to switch back and forth. There are 2 H's left. And there are there's only one. I think we got them all but one. The last one for the G.
I think Johnny Quest puts up Hortense.
And Hortense is 1996. Yes, Hortense was retired. We still haven't gotten Leave Me, I Want to Be Left Alone. Just give up. Just give up.
I don't know.
Greta Garbo.
Greta Garbo.
1978. Greta Garbo. So the G storms to review: Gorgeous Georges in 1998, Gilbert in 1988, Gloria in 85, Greta in 1978, and Gustav in 2008. Now on the H's, we've got Harvey, Hattie, Hazel, Hortense, and Hugo. So there's only one left.
Out of the H's.
Out of the H's. and I'm trying to think of. Oh God, nothing's coming to mind on this name. So 19. Well, I already said that they were all before 2000. I'll just say that this was in the 1960s.
Well, and this was an H storm that was retired.
Da 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 da. Oh, you're so lovely. Yes, I know it. I can't help it.
I have no clue, Joe.
What's opera? I'm quoting. I'm singing. What's opera, Doc? Okay, the Bugs Bunny. What's opera, Doc? Oh, you're so lovely. Yes, I know it. I can't help it.
I know the cartoon that you're mentioning, but I just don't have the name.
Okay, I don't think anybody's going to get this. So I will just give you the answer. I was trying to get to Broomhilda, so it was Hilda in 1964.
All right.
Oh, Helen Bertona got it. Okay, she got it. She got Hilda. Not Heumann, Arthur Kaufman, not Heumann, Hilda.
You know, Hortense was part of a Red Skelton joke. I don't remember the exact joke. He was describing to somebody, a friend of his, who wanted to date one of two sisters, and he said one sister's name is Hortense and the other is Lassie, and the friend said, "No, Lassie's a dog's name." And Red Skelton said, "You ain't seen Hortense."
Oh, good Lord. I'm sorry. I know there's feedback that's coming in and out from time to time. I'm trying to adjust my headsets to see if that's the issue, because it goes away and then it reappears. But oh well. That's it. So we got them all.
That's true. So I guess we will reconvene tomorrow night. Oh my goodness, Met fans, what is happening tonight? You know, the Mets have been playing a bunch of scrabinis, and it seems like they are having trouble with these teams that are going nowhere in the standings. It's the top of the fourth, Met fans, and they're down to the Cubs 5-0. What is going on here? And they're playing at Citi Field too. I don't think they want to win the division this year, Joe.
Well,
oh God.
The Yankees were collapsing coming out of August and going into September.
Yankees aren't playing tonight, I don't think. No, they're not.
All right.
Oh well.
The chairman, Scott Briller, hit super chat. He's says it's the hardest Briller Jeopardy that we've ever done. And he'll be back. I think on Thursday. He's saying, if I'm reading, that.
Be scared. Be very scared. All right.
All right. We'll see how that goes. All right. So everybody, back tomorrow night at 7:30. We'll see if there's extra weather to report tomorrow night. We'll see what the maps have to say.
All right. Well, all of you have a good evening. Back at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on the 13th. Yes, the 13th of September, a Tuesday night.
And the Joe and Joe Weather Show brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125, the telephone number. And the website is omnitruevalue.com. And don't forget, come this wintertime, Omni's a place to go because they have tons and tons of salt. More salt than anywhere you can find in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, tri-state area, just in case there's a salt shortage like we had last year. Good night, yes. Good night, Joe.
Good night, Joe. Good night, Chet. Good night, David.
Good night.